ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजोवारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं समदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणाचार्येभ्यो नमः। वेदव्यासमहर्षेण शुकब्रह्मर्षेण अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओं श्रीकृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणं पारायणमध्ययनं पारायणमथ सप्तमस्कन्धः द्वितीयोऽध्यायः। नारद उवाच। In our chanting, second chapter of seventh skandham, some of the shlokas we will see. Om Bhrataryevam Vinihate Harina Krodhamurtina Hiranyakashivu Rajan Paryatapya Rusha Sucha Ahachedam Rusha Ghurnaha Sandashtadashanachadaha Kopojvaladbhyam Chakshurbyam Nirikshan Dhomramambaram Karadadam Strogradrushtya Dusprekshya Bhrukuti Mukha Shulamudyamya Sadasi Danavanidabravad Bho Danavadaiteyaha Dimurdhan Striyakshashambara Shadabaho Hayagriva Namuchepaka Ilvala Viprachitte Mamavachaha Puloman Shakunadayaha Shunutanantaram Sarve Kriyatam Ashamachiram Savatnairghatitah Kshudraihi Brata Me Daitah Suhruto Parshnigrahena Harina Samena Pipadhavanaihe Tasya Tyakta Svabhavasya Krunermaya Vanaukasaha भजन्दं भजमानस्य बालसेवा स्थिरात्मनः मत्शूलभिन्नग्रीवस्य भूरिणा रुधिरेण वै रुधिरप्रियं तर्पयिष्ये भ्रातरं मे गतव्यधः तस्मिन् कूटे हिते नष्टे कृतमूले वनस्पतौ विडबा इव शुष्यन्ति विष्णुप्राणादिवौकसः तावद्यातभुवं यूयं विप्रक्षत्रसमेधितां सूदयध्वं तपोयज्ञ स्वाध्यायव्रतदानिनः विष्णुर्द्विजक्रियामूलः यज्ञो धर्ममयः पुमान् देवर्षि पितृभूतानां धर्मस्य च परायणं यत्र यत्र द्विजागावः वेदावर्णाश्रमा क्रियाः तं तं जनपदं यात सन्दीपयत वृश्चत इति ते भर्तृनिर्देशम् आदाय शिरसाद्धृताः तथा प्रजानां कदनं विदधुः कदनप्रियाः पुरग्रामव्रजोद्यान क्षेत्रारामाश्रमाकरान् खेटखर्वटघोषांश्च ददहुः पतनानि च केचित् खनित्रैर्विविदुः सेतुप्राकारगोपुरान् आजीव्यान् शिक्षितुर्वृक्षान् केचित् स्परशुपाणयः प्रादहन् शरणान्यन्ये प्रजानां ज्वलितोन्मुखैः एवं विप्रकृते लोके दैत्येन्द्रानुचरैर्मुहुः दिवं देवाः परित्यज्य भुवि चेरुरलक्षिताः हिरण्यकशिपुर्भ्रातुः सम्परेतस्य दुःखितः कृत्वा कटोदकादीनि भ्रातृपुत्रान् असान्त्वयतु शकुनिं शम्बरं धृष्टं भूतसन्तापनं मृकं कालनाभं महानाभं हरिश्मश्रुमथोत्कचं तन्मात्रं वृषाभानुं दितिं च जननीं गिरा लक्ष्मया देशकालज्ञः इदमाह जनेश्वर। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम श्री भागवत शरणं मम श्री सद्गुरु शरणं मम श्री सूत शरणं मम श्री शुकदेव शरणं मम श्री व्यास शरणं मम श्री नारद शरणं मम श्री कुमार शरणं मम श्री ब्रह्मा शरणं मम Shri Vishnu Sharanam Mama, Shri Parabrahma Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama, Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva, Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Vangum Langhete Girim Yat Krvatamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Sarge Satye Cha Kailase Vaikunte Nastem Rasaha Atapi Bandhu Sadbhagya Mama Munchada Karehijada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuranam Ekadasha Skandaha. मुक्तिरित्वा निदारूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः अथ अष्टाविंशोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच Salutations to entire Bhagavata avatars, acharyas, gurus, rishis, munis, devatas, to the Shruti Mata, to Parabrahma Tattva, to Bhagavan Krishna. Spiritual sadhana is a relentless, continuous application of oneself. And at times, we alone are supposed to do all our own managements, all our own chosen sadhanas. Nobody will be around us, including Bhagavan and Guru also watch us from a distance. They are always there to help us, guide us, but in some periods, sometimes intensely, we only have to pull our own sleeves and all, gather our own resources, remember all the knowledge gained, and we have to involve in sadhana. In other occasions, some inconveniences, some helps, some subtle blessings keep on working, with which sadhana seems to happen easily, and that time we think we are the ones doers. There is always grace krupa. And then at every level in the Adhyatmika Marga, because of the subtlety of the subject, because of the Deshakala in which we are, because of the load of past we carry, this sadhana appears to be tough only, but not impossible. So, a person with that inner integrity guts, that whatever toughness, difficulty be there, I will not give up. With that strength, the one who proceeds, he alone achieves. As regards the difficulties are concerned, you see, just now we are reading the seventh skanda Bhagavatam. We saw when Hiranyakashipu attacked, even devatas also had to run away from their loka and had to hide somewhere. Till Paramatma Anubhuti comes from the outer and inner sources, the difficulties, problems will keep on happening to wherever we go, to everyone. So we should understand these things right in advance. Keep it in mind. Then, whenever such thing happens, we must know what to do, what not to do, and keep on moving ahead. And also remember, every moment in the Adhyatmic sadhana, with our own careful procedure or progress or our own steps, we need to have with one hand holding to the hand or feet of God, another hand holding to the feet or hand of the Guru also. They keep on helping us. Now, this 28th chapter is so good, great, complete in the subject. We are trying to understand it, and let us pray that all these understandings always remain on the surface of our intellect, so that we remember ourselves to be always sadhaka. We also remember the sadhana and we keep on doing it. Maybe not go away from this path. Let any amount of difficulties out of prarabdha may come to us. Now, with all these sadhanas indicated up to 32 slokas, when one recognizes self, the experience of the self is such that he will not go back into the earlier bondages, because whatever were the causes for the bondage, he is freed from that cause. And the cause is single cause, no second cause. The single cause was Atma Avidya, the ignorance of self. Atma Vidya happened, then yesterday we saw so beautifully. It was because Avidya only, there was Avaranam, because of Avarana only there is a Vikshepam, because of the Vikshepa only the Aropanam. So the Atma Vidya gained, we are established in that. Therefore, Avidya, Avaranam are not there, Vikshepa, Aropana are not there. Therefore, there is no samsara. So, Purvam Gruhitam Guna Karma Chitram Ajnanam Atmani Aviviktam. There are only two ways of living life of mukti. One, just be in the self, infinite self of pure Sachit. Second is what? When the world is perceived, remain to the world as Sakshi. See that in your Adhyakshata, everything is happening. Or when everything is happening, know and be stationed in the position that I am only the witnessing consciousness of that. Carefully listen. I am only witnessing consciousness. Miss not the identity that I am witnessing consciousness. The moment we miss that I am the consciousness witness, immediately we become the karta of whatever is happening. The moment we become karta, we have fallen to the jiva bhava, then we will be forced to become the bhokta also. Again, I am repeating, remaining in the self where self alone is there, nothing other than it. If at all the world is there, any type of world and happening, let all the things happen without pulling us down from the sthiti that we are Sakshi Chaitanya. तो या आत्मा से एक रहो या पूरे विश्व का साक्षी चैतन्य रहो. उस साक्षी विटनेसहुड से little bit we fall, we become karta. The moment we become karta, we become bhokta. Then it is samsara. That is what he says. You see, ajnanam, ajnana janitam, gunakarma chitram, purvam guruhitam, abhivikta rupena. Hey Anga, ye my dear son or the dearest you, Uddhava, Atmani abhivikta means what? Not taken as separate from the self. Then taken as the self. Taken as separate from the self is remaining in Sakshi Bhava. Not taken as separate from the self means identifying. With what? Guna Karma Chitram. All these Guna Karma, the three gunas, and we got three gunas, whatever are happening. Satvika Guna Karma is Jnana Samuparjanam. Rajasika Guna Karma is doing activities. Tamasic Guna Karma is Dravyata. Again, I am pausing here for you to allow this thought to sink in. सो अज्ञान से जनित गुण कर्म चित्र जो पहले मैं या मेरा और मेरे लिए के रूप में लिया गया, वो आफ्टर द नोइंग ऑफ सेल्फ व्हाट हैपेंस निवर्तते तत् पुनः ईक्षया एव. when the iksha happens of the atma vastu on the dhyana sthiti, all that nivartate. All that nivartate means that which is taken as the self. The notion that the upadhis are me, therefore upadhi related things are mine, and for the sake of upadhi, all the sukha should be for me or the mahyam, all of that goes away. Nivartate tata puna ikshaya eva. This is what is the sthiti of Brahmagnani. We have to have an information. When we reach there, it gives us confirmation, yeah, hum pahunch gaye. Although, as we are saying every day, our identity with Upadhi carried from so many lives has got such a strongest of the samskaras and vasanas, yet theoretically, this is what happens when one reaches the final final siddhi of the sadhana. Okay, now Atma na gruhyate na visrujyaha. We discussed this also. The self in me is not given up when I identify the upadhi and became jiva. And when the upadhis are given up, nor the self is taken up. Self is the self always. It's only an ignorance born out of aviveka made us get bound by the upadhis. And then to this Atmavastu, which is said to be neither can be given up nor held on to, all other studied words or adjectives or explanations are indicated also, you can add. What are the things? The Atma first by nature Satchidananda. Second is it is eternal there. So third is it is never born, never modified, never growing, never decaying, never dying. Always the same it is. In that I am. In that anything other than it is only projected out of ignorance. That's why ajnana. When the jnana of the self came, all that gone away. Therefore, as we said 3 days back, maybe in the morning class also, as a result of the study of Shastras, how much intense is the desire becoming to know exactly what we are. That's called a jignasa. Jnatum icha, Atma Swarupa Jnatum icha, Swarupam Jnatum. I want to know the self, be the self. The more we intensify ourselves in this desire through the study of Shastra, the Shastra Adhyanam is becoming fulfilled. And all sadhanas are fulfilled when we doubtlessly experience ourselves. At that level, vidyate hrudaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, tasmin dushte baravar. Again, I am repeating, the study of all Shastras should intensify our desire, longing to know and be the self. All the sadhanas should take us to the experience of self. Only when the self is experienced as it is, in the ignorance of the self, whatever the entire world of multiplicity projected and was binding us, that will go away from the root. Even to understand this sentence or this explanation, retain it in the mind, we need to have a special ability, special purity of antakarana. Otherwise, sentence we might have heard, but then how much it got registered literally, and how much we understand that, how much we accept it, it varies from person to person, depending on that person's or sadhakas or shrotas level of maturity. So all Shastras, Vedanta Shastras, unanimously telling only one thing. What is that? Taking not self as the self, not only we have forgotten the self, but all the persecutions you are going through, though they don't belong to you. That is the only cry and shout of the Shastra. That's why this entire SKANDHA-11 started with its definition of muktihi hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavastitihi. What is the mukti? Anyatha rupam hitva swarupa vyavastha. Till that time you can't have mukti. And when the mukti is not there, we'll go on through so many transmigrations. And in that, sometimes we do lot of punyam, we go to higher worlds. Again we come, kshine punyam, artilokam vishanti. And this time for a change, we do lot of papam and go to these narakas and nicha yoni and all. After that, again we come to the bhulokam, then do punyam, then go there. ये जो आवा जाही, and in between every jahi ava means between the birth and death, how many types of limited things we are identified with, and every moment there is struggle. A pure Vedanti and Bhakta is he who is always in dukkha, just like a samsara. A samsara is dukkha because his artha kama are not fulfilled. Is it not? A Vedanta is Dukhi. This how long? This Tadatma with the Upadis. When will I get out of all this individuality, Jiva Bhava? When will I come out of all these limitations? His dukkha is that. The Arthakami goes to the temple, does puja, holds on to feet of the Lord, requests and begs him. और भी चाहिए धन दौलत, और भी चाहिए खुशियाँ, और भी चाहिए सुख भोग. He is that type of prayer. What a sadhaka asks for, hey Bhagwan, give me that knowledge. This is the conviction. Make me do all those sadhana required. See to it that I transcend all anatma tadatmyams and come to the recognition of myself as it is. And at a higher level, he says, Lord, take everything from me, anything from me. Make me do every sadhana. But see to it that the anatma dhyasa goes away. Atma khyati happens. Khyati is anubhuti. In the Tivra jignasa of the self, only when one really sits for meditation and struggles there also, invokes the help of Guru and God, karke, then the antakarana becomes refined, it is dissolved. Once it dissolves, then the self is revealed. Till that time also, at least avoid papa, do punya, and be comfortable at every level. इतना तो कॉमन सेंस हमको होना चाहिए. भगवान इज नॉट टेलिंग कि गो फॉर ओनली मुक्ति. ही सेज एंजॉय मुक्ति आल्सो, बट इन द राइटेस्ट मैनर. डोंट गो इन अ धार्मिक मैनर expecting the things to gain in a shortcut manner or short period of time. Don't get lost. That's the thing. Anyway, it's not the main subject. Main subject is self is neither can be left nor can be held on to. It is always within us. But in the ignorance of self only, we were having the identity with the all not self as the self. Thus, we were living for long time a dream world of samsara. But once we know it, self, it is like this. Nivartate tata punaha ikshaya eva. The iksha, the anubhava, the darshana, the tattva darshana, the brahma darshana, the atma darshana, we have to seek that. In that only fulfillment for every jiva. So many have evolved and had achievement. Many are just at the brim level. Some are very advanced level. We are at our own level. There are very many not even at this level of listening. Still, they are attending all pujas, brahmotsavas, mandira darshanam. They are all doing. But in all of that, there is kriya prakriya is there, but conscious jnanam is not there. That all these are done for antakarana shuddhi, after which through study of shastra we will understand, meditate and realize the self and get liberated. This clarity is not there for the 10,000 people who stand in the line to have the Vaishno Devi darshanam or Tirupati darshanam or any darshan. It's not said that we have, but I'm telling, at least in the class we are listening it. बाद में conveniently भूल जाते. So to say that even in Navaratras, when you go to temple, ask the Jagannatha only to remove the abstraction called as Prakriti, give the Tadatma with that Tattva and Atma. ये मांगना चाहिए. You should not ask like others the same things of samsara. By the way, just to convey it indirectly, it's called as Parokshavada. We took that example. That millions don't know, only rare few, and that also how many lives of evolution also for us. We have to accept, agree that in this life, relentlessly we are bombarded with the Shastra Jnanam, in which the Atma Tattva Nirupana is being done, Siddhantika Rupana, Siddhanta. The Atma Tattva Nirupana finally is only in the Anubhuti that nobody can give to anyone. Everybody will have to work for it. Guru convinces about the Atmanubhava gives mukti. Guru gives us the guidance how to get into Anubhava. Then we have to now struggle. Your and my struggle actually starts now. Your time starts now. If you are convinced about Atma Prapti is Mukti Hetu and I will achieve it at any cost, now our real sadhana starts. Is it not? In that real sadhana, the first step is not to forget this knowledge. That my goal is only Paramatma Prapti. पहले वो भूल गया है तो सब चले गया. Like you left house to reach to a place. After some time you forgot where to reach. Then where do you go? Everywhere except where you have to go. In the same way, when we are given total charge of our life sadhana, the first struggling we have to do is never forgetting our real goal. Then every of the upadhis, mastering or purifying or conquering, oh, अब चलता ही रहेगा. And remember, with utsaha, that we have to. Gita says, na, tam vidyat dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga sangnitam, but sa nischayena yoktavyaha yogaha anirvinna chaitasa. No one thought I want to share this one only, not in the context of the topic, but context of the life sadhana. When Bhagavan told for the yuddha, that time also he said, Vyavasaya atmika buddhi ekaya kurunandana. Oh, Krishna, Arjuna, what will make you enjoy your work is your निश्चयात्मिकता, not a doubtfulness, not a hesitation. करना है तो युद्ध कर, अब रोना मत, मरो जिंदा हो जो भी हो, पहले वो लड़ो, रोना मत, निश्चय लेकर करो. Here also says, sa nischayena yoktavyaha yoga. So whether we follow the path of yoga of moksha through adhyatmikata, there we have to do it with nischaya added with every enthusiasm, every inspiration. If these two are there, not there, no enthusiasm, inspiration, to a great distance we may travel, but from that distance travel, we can retrieve back or revert back, or we may stop there only. याद रखना है जिंदगी भर उत्साह के साथ रहना, और क्या कहते हैं, विथ जॉयफुली वी हैव टू डू. अनिर्विण्ण चेतस, निश्चय एंड अनिर्विण्णता. देयर आल्सो व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि कुरु नंदन. Use the word Kuru Nandana means the great child of Kuru Vamsha. That's literal meaning. But for us, why literal meaning? We need indicated meaning. So Kuru Nandana means enjoy your doing. Kuru means karo. Nandana means enjoy. So be in the ananda of doing along with Nishchaya. When you have to do the yuddha and get your kingdom back by killing the Kauravas. There. Here, it is not yuddham outside with any Kauravas, it is yuddham with your own lower life of Jiva Bhava to defeat it, to reach to your higher self. This internal yuddham of Adhyatmikata also calls for the same two most profound qualities of Nishchaya and also Anirvinnata. Morning also Vyasa in Vidurniti, Anirveda Sukhasya Moolam, Dhanasya Moolam, all that Vyasa. Never ever come to that demoralization any crime for any reason. And Shreyam se Bahuignani, already we saw 7-8 slokas back ki the internal self-created antaraya. From the Manusha there are antarayas, the Panchamahabhutas there are antaraya, from the Devatas also the antaraya will come. See how kind Krishna is in this chapter. If you are alert, preparing us in every important aspect. और लास्ट में हमको ये भी बताएंगे हाउ टू मैनेज योर हेल्थ एटसेट्रा टू बी ऑन द साधना, बिकॉज विथ ऑल योर कन्विक्शंस नॉलेजेस द देह इन विच यू आर, इफ इट इज नॉट कोऑपरेटिंग, यू कांट डू साधना इवन वन डे, यू कांट डू एनी ऑफ योर थिंग. एक भी नहीं कर, उसका भी रक्षा कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है. Although at one level we discard saying that deha is not the self, deha has to be rejected and all, ये तो सिद्धांत है, बट साधना तो देह में रहकर ही करना है ना. If the deha is not cooperating, that also is going to tell there. But here, what we are saying is, with nischayata, with anirvinnata, we have to do. I am quoting from Gita chapter 2 and chapter 6 to add to this sadhana, that when iksha happens, then there is no coming back to get bound, but to have that iksha, once we are convinced through the Shastriya Jnanam, we are left with ourselves we have to do sadhana. So to that stage we are slowly reaching through our regular study. आफ्टर दिस मोर स्टडी में भी 1 साल 2-3 साल में हमको इतना ही बचेगा, 2 ही ऑप्शन, या गो बैक टू योर अर्ली वर्ल्डलीनेस बिकॉज फुल थियोरेटिकल नॉलेज यू गेन्ड, हो गया। अभी क्या इससे ज़्यादा तो पढ़ना पढ़ाना तो है ही नहीं, हमारे मास में ज़्यादा इंटेलेक्चुअली व्हाट इज देयर टू स्टडी, वेदर यू स्टडी बृहदारण्य का और छांदोग्य का, यू हैव सीन टुडे आत्मवेदमिदम आत्मा वा इदम अग्रे आसीत्, एनी बुक यू स्टडी यही होगा फाइनल। So after 2 साल, या go back like many people go back to worldliness, or you have with nischayatmikata, with full anirvedata, not losing heart, with all the decision, firmness of the conviction, and with full enthusiasm. Anirveda means enthusiasm, firm conviction and inspiration. You have to go on moving. Let the small troubles come, bigger troubles come, we are not going to live. ओके नहीं, तो वहाँ जाना है, तो यहाँ तक आ गए, बीच में नदी है, वो नदी पहाड़ के समान है, यू नो तैरना, बट द बहाव इज बिग, सो व्हाट यू डू, you put your strong efforts and then cross it. In the same way, now these two things, Nischayatmikata, Anirvedam, these two have to be had by us all the time. Okay? Now comes, the example is given, I did not discuss much. Yata hi bhano rudayo nruchakshusham tamo nihanyat natu sadvidhakte evam samiksha nipuna sati me hanyatamisram purushasya buddhe. This is an explanation of the fourth pada of the earlier shloka, where Atma na visruche na gruhyate. Self is neither left earlier at the level of our ignorance dasha, nor now we are lifting it and holding. Self is always there. It is never gone away. Then what is entire sadhana doing? What is the result of all? How this entire adhyatmic sadhana is affecting in the Atma Anubhava and Moksha, how it is working is this example. When the sun rises, he is removing the darkness in front of my eyes, which was obstructing the vision of the things which are already there. The things are not created. Like around you, there are lot of buildings are there, etc. Trees are there, whatever. तो भगवान का सूर्य का आते ही ये सारे चीज़ों का निर्माण नहीं हुआ. They were always there. But what was obstructing my vision of them was the darkness. What did the light of sun do? It removed the darkness in front of my eyes. Then what is already there, I have seen. I am seeing it now. Same way, what entire Vedantic Shastra sadhana does, it doesn't bring the self. It does not create the self. Self is always there like the tower. But it was covered by the darkness there. So to the darkness of ignorance was covering the vision of the self. Entire spiritual sadhana of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana only removes the darkness. Then we are seeing whatever there, always there, eternally there, the self. Therefore, evam samiksha nipuna sati me anyat tamistram purushasya buddhehe. So, me samyak iksha, me sati samyak iksha, me sati samyak nipuna iksha. Me means my own self. Iksha means anubhuti. Samiksha means doubtless anubhuti. Nipuna means what? Which is firmly established anubhuti. Sati means it is sadvastu. Sat sati. Iksha being feminine, all the adjectives are given in the feminine gender. So, sati nipuna me samyak iksha. Sati means the self always real, true. Nipuna means nischayatmika. Iksha means anubhuti. Samyak means the doubtless. So, the doubtless, direct experience of the self, which is always eternal and true, which is gained through all adhyatmic sadhana. What is it doing? Purushasya buddhehe tamisram hanyat. The jiva sadhakas, the ignorance in his buddhi is removed. Buddhi means in his life, in his understanding. सो द बुद्धि का अज्ञान चला गया, बुद्धि में ज्ञान भरा गया, फिर अज्ञान के द्वारा किया गया साधना से बुद्धि भी डिजॉल्व, एक्सपीरियंस हैज कम. सो एवं समीक्षा निपुणा सती. मे एवं मे सम्यक इच्छा. मे means here the Lord or the self. Samiksha means experience. Nipuna means निश्चयात्मिक अनुभूति. Sati means of the self which is reality. The self which is real, which is eternal there. The effort to experience that self through all the adhyatmic sadhana never brought the non-existing self. Self is always there. It only removed the ignorance. That's it. सी ही दिस वेदांत में जो आप बहुत गहरा में जाते हो, मजा भी आता है, समझ गया, नहीं समझा तो थोड़ा वहाँ अटक जाते. सेल्फ इज ऑलवेज देयर. या इट इज माय ओन सेल्फ. या इट इज सच्चित स्वरूप. या हाउ कैन इट बी फॉरगॉटन? On to that, how can the not self is projected, and that not self is taken as the self, and suffered through many lives, taking the not self as self. In one of the life, some Atma Guru entered our life. He started slowly guiding. We started taking that guidance, and slowly, slowly, what happened? Ignorance is removed. Which ignorance? Which is not real only, and the self is realized, which was never forgotten, which was never absent. देखो ये वेदांत का जो मजा है ना, जो बंदा बहुत गंभीर जाता है ना, उसको सही तरह से समझ में आता है. Superficial people can't understand, catch it. They go into different types of hallucinations and imaginations. So the essence of this sloka and the last part of earlier sloka is a don't imagine that right now you are not the self or self is somewhere else. Then as a result of the self is result of sadhana, the self it is made and given to you, or self is brought to you, or you are taken to the self. ऐसा imagine मत करना. Like in the Vyavahara, that object is not there, so I got it. I went and got it, or it is given to me. Or I was not an officer or a doctor or engineer. Through my qualification gained, then I became so. ऐसा नहीं है आत्मानुभूति. Just to reject all these type of notions, it is said, you are eternally that. Only the ignorance was covering. But the thickness of the ignorance is so much that it required lives to eliminate all of them. The avidya, as we said, vasanas, samskaras, edits, habits, and so much of these things were there. ये सब निकालना पड़ेगा. Again, remember, by applying various chemicals, the dirt of the gold is removed, not the gold's shining is created. Gold is always shining, but it is covered with something. Therefore, the shining was hidden. So, with all the process of cleaning that gold, the dirt is removed. The gold is not made shiny. Gold is always shining. So, too, I am always the self. The dirt of ignorance is removed by all this process of washing of adhyatmika sadhanas. Keep that in mind. Okay, now we go to the last few shlokas. Now, again, very powerful. 35 shloka is a pure explanation about the gunas of the self as indicators for us for meditation. They will be repeatedly told throughout all the Shastras. Again and again told. Like in Mandukya. Nanta pragnam na vahish pragnam. Remember, in that place or Ettadadresham Agrahyam Avakata Mundaka Upanishad, every of these explanations about the self, in those explanations the words are there. To those words there is a meaning is there. That meaning is to be contemplated. In the contemplation of the meaning of those words only, the misunderstandings, etc., go away. Then the existing self, our own, is experienced. यहाँ श्रवण मनन निधि ध्यासन रूपी अंदर की क्रियाएं होते हैं. बाहर के, लाइक यू डू एनीथिंग विद द आउटर ऑब्जेक्ट्स ग्रॉसली, हथौड़े लेकर कील को ठोकना, ऐसा वाला काम नहीं. यहाँ वेदांत में आत्म तत्व के बारे में जो शब्द बताए हैं, जिनके अंदर अर्थ छुपा है, उस अर्थ के द्वारा तो गलत फहमियों को दूर करके ऑलवेज एग्जिस्टिंग सेल्फ वी हैव टू एक्सपीरियंस. Be clear. Now let us do this shloka. Esha swayam jyotirajyo prameyo mahanubhuti sakalanubhuti eko dvitiyo vasasam virame yene sitavak asavascharanti esha swayam jyotirajyo prameya mahanubhuti sakalanubhuti eko dvitiyo vasasam virame yene sitavak asavascharanti. Always, na, whenever we are listening any jnana from Guru, earlier existing jnana उसको भी ऐड करके any incompleteness है तो उसको complete करना. Contrary knowledge या ignorance से इसको neutralize नहीं करना. Because at any place by any guru, when he teaches to disciple, he cannot teach complete thing at one time. He already something he taught. He will be taught now the new thing. He will have to add the earlier and this one make it complete in himself, the listener, the disciple. Keep that idea in mind. Every time बताया नहीं जा सकता क्योंकि कैसे बताएंगे? Easy one moment time you can't tell everything, but already told. But while understanding, we have to mix the earlier this and दोनों मिलकर. Incomplete knowledge नहीं होना चाहिए. Now here about Paramatma is said. About the our own inner self is said. The inner self is the self of everybody, everything that alone is reality. First, Eshaha. Esha means it, that self which is in your own self. First is Swayam Jyotihi. It is of nature of effulgence, and this is nature of self-effulgence. Okay. What it means? You add the Natatra Suryo Bhati shloka meaning to this. What is the meaning of Natatra Suryo Bhati shloka meaning adding here? Ki the sun, moon, star, fire, etc., which are Jyoti Swarupa, which are required to illuminate the things, they all are not required to illuminate the Paramatma. And what is said as sun, moon, stars in the outer world are said as the Buddhi, Mana, Indriyas in the Upadhis. The sun outside is the Buddhi inside. The moon outside is the Mana inside. The stars outside is the thoughts inside or the perceptions, let us say. The Vani outside is called the speech. The fire outside is called the speech. Fire also Roshni wala hai, it also illuminates the things. So here the fire is speech, moon is mind, sun is buddhi, all the stars are the indriyas. So Swayam Jyoti means what? Two things. One, none of them are, first of all, it is self-effulgent. Therefore, none of them are required to illuminate it. Rather, all of them are illuminated by this Atma Prakasha. Contemplate on this thought. Therefore, in me, there is a being, and a conscious being, which is self-effulgent, which doesn't require anything to identify it or recognize it or illuminate it. In fact, it is the one because of whose presence all the bhautik upadhis are enlivened or illumined, our own personal upadhis, outer worldly, sun, moon, star also. This one thought enough for knowing self, if you have the ability to contemplate on that till it is reached. That's what I was saying 5 minutes back. Ki in the Vedanta Shastra about the self, whatever the words are said, they have meaning, they have to be contemplated to reach to that experience. स्वयं ज्योति ही मेरे अंदर कौन है जो स्वयं ज्योति उसको ढूंढो. Self effulgent, self luminous. It is light of its own. This light is not because of any other reasons. Jyoti. And anytime you word the Jyoti means which illuminates itself and illuminates others. But what is the difference between every Jyoti and Swayam Jyoti? Other Jyotis illuminate others while illuminating themselves, but they need support of something. Like the bulb. filament illuminate itself and illuminate everything in the room, but it is dependent on the electricity, the wire, the correct connection, so many things. So it is not Swayam Jyoti. So to a lamp, lamp is self-effulgent, illuminating everything. But then again, it needs a wick, it needs the oil. Is it not? ये सब स्वयं ज्योति नहीं है. Is it not? Sun, moon, and also not Swayam Jyoti. I have to become aware of them. Then only their presence is certified. But the self in me is not, it doesn't need anything to illuminate it. It itself is Jyoti Swarup. So we have heard about meditating on Akasha to know the self, meditation on the Samudra to know the self. You can have another point today, Jyoti. Swayam Jyoti. What is that light in me? Now, that light in me is illuminating the ignorance also of me. Is it not when I don't know something? I am aware that I don't know. That is a peculiar light, no? Which is not contradictory to the darkness or the ignorance. ध्यान लगाना उसमें कौन है वो ज्योति और पकड़ने की कोशिश में वो ज्योति मैं ही बन जाता हूँ वही तो पता पता भी वही करना है ना आई एम द स्वयं ज्योति I am the Jyoti Swarupa. Aha. See, forgetting our real Jyoti Swarupa, how we have become the Jiva with Dehendriyadi Upadhi. It is not only sad, miserable thing, but it is also laughable murkhata. And how much struggle it is to go back to identify with ourselves. But फिर भी करना नहीं चाहते. That is the point. Second one is ajaha. As I told you already, ajaha is what? Karana rahitaha. It has no cause of itself. It is eternal presence. Aja means always present. Only the thing which is absent is born. Birth means absence of the prior absence. Death is presence of the posterior absence. Birth क्या है? Absence of the prior absence. So it was not there, it came. It is called birth. There was never a time where the cell was not there. Therefore, there is no birth for it. Therefore, it's called ajaha. Now, again, on this contemplate. Either you say what is the causeless thing in me, or what is the thing which is eternally there, unborn. Ajaha. This aja word, when we understand it as unborn, therefore it is ever there. And its undying also gives such a confidence to us that all the fears of death go away. And two options, only one. How much ever you are frightened or while trying to avoid, definitely we die as Deha, Indriya, Mana, Buddhi, even as Jiva. मरना ही पड़ेगा कुछ भी करो. Then with the self identity or as the self, कुछ भी करो मर नहीं सकते. एंड क्या चाहिए आपको मरना है कि नहीं मरना यार नहीं को मरना नहीं है नहीं मरना है तो डिस्कवर द सेल्फ यू डोंट वांट टू आइडेंटिफाई द सेल्फ और डिस्कवर सेल्फ वी आर ओनली विद द उपाधि कुछ भी करो वो मरण का हम अवॉइड नहीं कर सकते allow this thought to go deeply thereafter instead of trying not to die what we do is discover our deathless self. Discovering our birth deathless self will be succeeded maybe after 1000 lives, but definitely one will succeed. But without the self discovery, which is unborn undying, with eternally yeah, taking birth and going through death वाला उपाधियों से तो लाख कोशिश करो वो रुकेगा ही नहीं मरना ही पड़ेगा. अजहा as a wave, it has to die. As a water, it can never die. And chance is always their choice. You want to identify with the waveness or with the waterness. As a gold never dies, as an ornament definitely dies. It's a question of time. Yesterday he was coming so deep thought. डर गया मैं तो वैसे थोड़ी देर के लिए, but thank God भगवान ने बचा ली. I stay alone, nobody to talk. What is that? Death going to come. It's only question of some time. How is the age? कितना हुआ अभी, कितना बचा है, क्या है? It's only question of time. कल इसका न्यूज़ सुना, परसों उसका सुना, ऐसा हो गया. बाद में हमारा कोई सुनेगा न्यूज़. And the funniest part is that we so casually listen everybody's death. Even though we'll feel a little emotional, but with the speed of the happenings in today's world, we just forget. We attend how many funerals, oh ये, और फिर भी लगता है कि हम जिंदा रहेंगे. और ये भी होता है कि उस जिंदा रहने में हम वही नालायकपन करेंगे जो हमेशा करते आ रहे. Never ever thought comes कि यार let me discover the deathless self in me before I die. Why this is we are never exposed to that knowledge, never exposed to that scriptures and all. We are so lucky to be born in Hinduism India. Equally unfortunate we are that the root and base of Hinduism India called as scriptural knowledge, which indicates about the self that we are denied of. जितने खुशकिस्मत है उतने बदकिस्मत है हम. भारतवर्ष में सनातन में जन्म लिए, लेकिन जन्म मरण के बारे में बताते हुए मरण रहित आत्मा को दिलाने वाले शास्त्रों से हम वंचित हो गए. ओके, अजहा. नेक्स्ट वन, अप्रमेयः. इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग, सेल्फ इज नॉट अ मी, नॉट इज नॉट नोन थ्रू एनी प्रमाण व्यापार. किसी प्रमाण से जानने वाले हैं, नौबत उसका नहीं है. इट इज द कॉज विथ बिकॉज ऑफ विच एवरी प्रमाणास आर वर्किंग, इज अप्रमेय. Aprameyata is not the weakness that there is no instrument to know the self. It is the strength of it. It is self-sustaining, self-knowing. It doesn't need any pramana prameya. Why? Because any pramiti of the prameya through pramana depends on pramana. Any knowledge through the means depends on the means. When the means are gone, the knowledge is gone. Like a person of 89 can't see the world because aankh thoda kamzor. He needs a chashma. So through the pramana of the chashma he is seeing. If the chashma is not there, he can't see. So to some people of the ear things. प्रमाण से वो जाना जा रहा है, प्रमाण नहीं है तो वो नहीं जानेंगे. आत्मा ऐसा थोड़ी है कि थ्रू प्रमाण ओनली इट इज नोन, देयरफॉर देयर इज नो प्रमाण, इट इज नॉट देयर, गायब हो गया, ऐसा नहीं है. इट इज ऑलवेज देयर. दैट इज व्हाई अप्रमेय. See, the fifth name of Gurudev. Ajaya, Avyaya, Avinashane, Achintya, that day came. Aprameyaya Namaha. Aprameya. You know Pramana Prameya? Like I am the Pramata. I is the Pramana. That yellow colored curtain is Prameya. So I, the Pramata, through the Pramana of the I, having the Prama or Pramiti, called as knowledge of the Prameya, the curtain. It is a curtain, it is yellow in color, it is there to cover the window. ये प्रमाण व्यापार है. कोई भी ज्ञान प्रमाण से होता है. But all the pramanas doesn't work in Paramatma because it doesn't need them. And any Pramanajanya Jnanam, when the Pramana goes away, it goes away. It is known through Pramana, again dependent on Pramana. Self is neither known through Pramana nor dependent on Pramana. It is अप्रमेय. प्रमाण के कोई जरूरत के बिना रहने वाला प्रमेय है वो. प्रमेय ऐसा नहीं है वो कि प्रमाणजन्य प्रमेय, मैं ही हूँ वो. And always prameya and pramata are different. Prameya means known, pramata is knower. In the self-knowledge, there is no knower or known difference. I am that knowledge. Knowledge without known knower difference, it's called as. अप्रमेय. थोड़ा हेवी लगते हैं शब्द, बट दिया है भागवत में, हम पढ़ रहे हैं तो सुन लो. थोड़ा तो घुसेगा, पूरा नहीं. तो एष स्वयं ज्योतिरजो प्रमेयः. Then Maha Anubhuti. Okay, Maha Anubhuti. Maha Anubhuti means what? The experience of it is what? Of consciousness only. Not I am conscious of something, that is Anubhuti. See, every experience is valid when it is bathing in the light of consciousness. है ना? I have to become conscious. For an unconscious fellow, उसके मुंह में कुछ भी लगाओ, कान में कुछ भी सुनाओ, will he experience it? No. So for every experience, the consciousness is required to eliminate. Right? I am eating some mithai. I have to be conscious. Then only I enjoy. I am somewhere else watching, like I am putting out in the mouth. I am not aware. Plate खाली हो गया, पता ही नहीं कि खाया इसने. That is ordinary anubhutis, where consciousness is required. Now, Atma Anubhuti is Maha Anubhuti. It is what? It is not the experience of something in the light of consciousness, but it is the experience of consciousness itself. That I am that. And the sadness of us is what? In the light of consciousness, we are experiencing everything, but the consciousness itself, we are not becoming conscious of. Because of we are not tried. We are only lost in the outer things. That is called Ajnanam, Avivekam, Murkhata. Is it? And why a criminal is criminal? Why a person of corruption is corrupt? Why the घोटाला वाला घोटाला कर रहा है? एक ही कारण है, मूर्ख है वो, बेवकूफ है, नॉलेज नहीं है बस. Till that knowledge comes, you will not stop it. जन्म जन्म करता ही जाएगा. Same way, why I am running to experience something in the light of consciousness instead of being as consciousness is Ajnanam, Murkhata only. Interesting. Esha Swayam Jyoti Rajo Aprameyaha Maha Anubhuti, then is called as Maha Anubhuti, then is Sakala Anubhuti. Sakala Anubhuti means what? He is the knower of everything. Just now we said. Sakala Anubhuti. It is always there, and because of its presence only, everything is known. Here, Jnanam itself is Anubhuti. Vedanta mein experience is knowledge only. Means every final experience is knowledge. ज्ञान में ही सारे अनुभव खत्म, अनुभव फाइनल स्थिति को पहुंचते हैं. As I just now said, some cold thing touched me, so I felt coolness. What is that coolness? An experience. But what is an experience? It is a ज्ञानम. है ना, ये ठंडा है, ये वाला ज्ञान है, और इससे मुझे हार्म होगा, ज्ञान है, इसलिए उसे दूर जाओ, ज्ञानम. देन द कर्म, रियली वी गो दूर to protect the body. So, Sakala Anubhuti means what? Every Anubhuti of every Upadhi, of every Jiva, actually is the Anubhuti of the Chaitanya Atma only. How? What is its Anubhuti? Just knowing. Again, I am pausing for you. By being aware itself, it is experiencing. Being knowing itself, experiencing. Sakala Anubhuti. How the conscious Paramatma experiences this world? Only by becoming aware of them. Not necessarily through the upadhis like you and I. परमात्मा का ना अवेयरनेस ही काफी है, बिना उपाधियों का, वही उनका अनुभूति. दैट्स कॉल्ड एज सकला अनुभूति. And that is why that anubhuti of Paramatma awareness is such that even nothing is there to experience, it experiences that nothing also. That is why in the Sakala Anubhuti, you take the two states of experience of absolute presence called Jagrat Swapna, third state of experience of absolute absence called as Nidra. तो सबको ये अनुभूत करता है मेरे अंदर का कॉन्शियसनेस, absence of everything called as Nidra, presence of gross and subtle called as Jagrat Swapna. Sakala. See, interesting thing. Focus on that, meaning of that. सकलानुभूति सबको जानता है. And how? He doesn't need buddhi anything to jano, awareness. So here we have to jump into a higher understanding. What is what? Knowing with buddhi alone is knowing. This is what we are in the notion. In fact, with the buddhi, whatever we know is only of anatma. Therefore, on the name of knowledge, the buddhi is only binding us with ignorance. सब कुछ बुद्धि से जाना जाता है कि नहीं? इट सेल्फ इज ए मिस्टेक. वैसे बुद्धि से जो जाना जाता है सब कुछ वो मिथ्या है, क्योंकि कोई सब कुछ चीज नहीं है ओनली वन परमात्मा. हायर देन नोइंग इज बीइंग अवेयर. This has to click to us in repeatedly while repeatedly listening this thing. Therefore, Sakala Anubhuti means what? He is experiencing everything as what? As pure conscious. Means he is aware of everything. That's it. He is not any way other way interacting with them, only by being awareness. This is said when the Sakalam is accepted to stay, accepted to exist. Like I am seeing the world now. When I am seeing the world, as I told you, on the three planes, is not the awareness aware of that? Yeah. Therefore, this awareness in me is anubhuti, sakala anubhuti, experiencer of all that. Through only being mere witness or awareness. When you focus attention only on the self, there is no sakala, there is no anu, there is no bhuti. It is only swayam jyoti. By itself, it is swayam jyoti. But from the world's standpoint, it is sakala anubhuti. Means it is experiencing everything by being aware of it, that's all. Awareness is a higher stage than knowingness. Doingness से knowingness greater है. Knowingness से awareness higher है. Not doing is a worst stone level. Not doing से doing में आना है, doing में से knowing में awareness. That's the meaning of sakala anubhuti. ही हो गया. Then ekaha. This self, which is Swayam Jyoti, Ajaha, Prameyaha, Mahanubhuti, Sakalanubhuti, is Ekaha. एक ही होता है, वैसा दो नहीं है. Ekaha. And such an Eka, because whenever you use the word one, it is always in contrast with the two. ध्यान से सुनना लॉजिक को. एक कहा का अर्थ दो को भी कहना पड़ेगा. अब वो परमात्मा एक है तो उसके अलावा दो भी है क्या? उस दो पॉसिबिलिटी को हटाने के लिए अद्वितीय वर्ड यूज करते. एक इज कंप्लीट इन इटसेल्फ, वन, बट दैट वन नेसेसरली इज इन कॉन्ट्रास्ट विद द टू. इज इट नॉट? लाइक व्हेन वी गो टू समबडी, ऐसे कि शादी हो गया, हाँ बच्चे, हाँ कितने, हम पूछते हैं. तो वहां कितने पूछने पे any number is told, it is in contrast with the other numbers, especially number one. वन कहा तो क्या है? दो या तीन नहीं है, ये अर्थ है. So ekam whenever you say, it is always in contrast to. Therefore, how to avoid the two? Advitiya word. That is why ekameva advayam brahma. It's not that there is one brahma and उसके साथ में और भी बाकी चीज भी है. Nothing other than him. He is one without anything other than him, second. Without using the word Advitiya, in the Veda, in the Brahma's explanation, Ekam word is not complete. Like, I told you, like, I have one brother. No, one brother means what? Maybe one sister, one brother-in-law. इतने संभावनाएं हैं. Because one brother I have is not a complete sentence. It has many options. So to hear one, when you say Brahma, there may be options like this. To avoid every option, he said Advitiya. Ekameva Advayam. So Ekaha Advitiyaha. Then such self, now be attentive. How do we experience? Only way is Vachasam Virame. When the vocal speech the speech of the senses, the speech of the mind, all of them become quietened. Not like in Nidra, but in the pure awareness, this self is realized. Vachasam virame is sadhana. On the seat of meditation, Vachasa is mind is quietened. All the vrittis of the mana are made shanta. In the Nidra, vrittis of the mana go into bija avastha temporarily. Again they come back. But in the extreme meditation, when all the vasanas are exhausted, it doesn't go to bija avastha. The mind and it all thoughts get dissolved. At that time, the self is experienced. So इसको picturize करो आप. Vedanta is not a picture, it is an अनुभूति. But for the intellectual understandingness, clarity के लिए imagine करो. सो अभी मेरा मन है, वृत्तियां हैं. आंख खोलो तो वृत्तियां जगत से शब्द रूप को देख कर बना रहा हूं. आंख बंद कर ली, माइंड आउट ऑफ हिज ओन हैबिट्स मेकिंग ऑल द वृत्ति. दिस ऑल ऑफ अस आर फेमिलियर. Just imagine, ki self-experience is that where all the mind and these thoughts are totally viramita when they become quieted. Vachasam virami. So entire sadhana is to make the virama of the entire vani, outer and inner. Here, these are all indicative words. Ek shabd bataya, so you have to catch so many things along with it. Here, Vachasam virama is equal to when we transcend कर्मेंद्रियास, ज्ञानेन्द्रियास, अंतःकरण, all that. उन सबको क्वाइटन करो तो, because in any of the experience, all of them are playing their role. जानने वाला हम चाहिए, बुद्धि चाहिए, मन चाहिए, इंद्रिय चाहिए, वस्तु चाहिए. Without any one of them, the experience doesn't come. Therefore, when one is indicated that वाणी का विराम करने से परमात्मा मिलते हैं, उसका अर्थ क्या हुआ? वाणी के साथ वाक्य सबको. That's why यच्चेत वाग मनसी तद यच्चेत ज्ञान आत्मनि ज्ञानम आत्मनि महति नियच्चेत तद यच्चेत शांति आत्मनि. This is how we study in Kathopanishad. So vachasam virame means at your own level try to catch when all the upadhis quietened and they are transcended, then the self is experienced. Not like nidra, but awareness. I am aware in the awareness. It takes time, not as easy as it is said. So what's Virami? Last one is what? Yena ishitaha vagasavascharanti. Yene shita vagasavascharanti is a very famous quotation in the Adhyatmic parlance. Many Upanishads talk about this. Like kene shitam patati preshitam manaha. Ishita means by the prerana presence of whom. Vag asavaha charanti. Vak means indriyas. Asava means pranas. Okay. So antakarana, ज्ञानेन्द्रिय, कर्मेंद्रिय is one category. 40. इन सबको कंटिन्यूसली काम करने के लिए एम्पावर करने वाला प्राण शक्ति है. सो वाक all these 14 indriyas. Asavaha, to empower them the prana shaktis. Charanti are working or alive because of the presence of Paramatma only. But that Paramatma experience when all of them are quieted. So Vachasam virame yene shita vagasavaha charanti. Dono. Vachasam virame means when you quieten everything, you experience him. And after the experience or even before experience, all the Jnanendriya, Karmendriya functioning in their own respective fields because of his Ishita, his presence. So, and one thing, last 7 days we are studying almost every day, which is not told or known to many even spirituality listeners. What is that? Paramatma does everything by being his mere presence. So, he doesn't do as a doer. थोड़ा इस बात को गंभीरता से जाने देना हृदय में. Like electricity is not glowing the filament, though we call it. बिजली ने पंखे को घुमाया, फिलामेंट को, no. In its presence, filament glow. अंडरस्टूड? सो परमात्मा कोई करता धरता नहीं है, उनका प्रेजेंस में सब होता है. Why? Because if you say him as karta, then he becomes karma phala bhokta. Then he is like us jiva. This is what in the Adhyatma Ramayana, the question asked by Parvati to Shivaji about Rama. Is it not? If the Rama is Parabrahma, how did he do all these karmas of crying for Sita ji, making a bridge, going and killing Rakshasas and all? आत्मा में तो सब नहीं होते हैं. और ये सब राम कर रहे हैं, तो then he is jiva. If he is jiva, how can I worship him? Why should I worship a jiva like me? Are you understanding it? To remove the kartrutva of the jiva, we say karta dharta, everything is Bhagavan. But by doing so, one place we are doing meharbani of freeing the jiva from kartrutva. But we are doing mistake other side, that kartrutva we are giving to Paramatma and pulling him to jiva bhav. So, how we have to understand? From the jiva standpoint, who is karta? Bhagavan. From the Bhagavan standpoint, who is karta? Bhagavan nahi. Then how come सब कुछ हो रहा है in his presence? That's why the example of Surya, example of electricity, in our own self, in the presence of me, the consciousness, all the faculties are working. Is it not? Conscious is not his doing, no? That is why when you stop doing, then only you reach to consciousness. Or when you try to reach to consciousness, all the doings end. थोड़ा subtle. येन ईशिता वाग असवः चरन्ति. All the karmendriya, jnanendriyas are functioning because of the Ishanatva of the Bhagavan. How the Bhagavan is doing Ishana? Only by being mere presence. In his presence they are working, in his absence they don't work. And only when all the Indriya Manamati Vyapara is quietened, Vachasam Virame, you will experience the self which is told as all these words. Eshantaratma, Esha Swayam Jyotirajo Prameyaha, Mahanamurti, Sakalanamurti, Ekaha, Dvitiyaha. These are all the words indicating the Atma Tattva. That Atma can be Anubhuta only when all the Upadhis we transcend. Then, before and after also, the entire Upadhis are functioning because of his presence. So, before the Atma Jnanam, when we are lost in the workings of the Upadhi, what we have to understand is working of the Upadhi and Upadhi. When we quieten and transcend them, we reach the self. In this way, do sadhana and reach. After reaching the self, when we come back, the self is there in whose governance, in whose presidency, all the Upadhis are working for a Jivan Mukta. So he doesn't become Karta. Indriyani Indriyarteshu Vartante. That's it. See, only one sentence I'll make it clear if you understand or not. Try. What is that? माया का 3 गुणों में से सत्व गुण रजोगुण के द्वारा तमोगुण में कर्म कर रहा है, और वो माया में नामक आत्मस्वरूप के प्रेजेंस में, in the presence of me the consciousness, in the presence of me the consciousness I am presiding. Maya's 3 gunas, among them the sattva is acting on the tamas through rajas. Very tough sentence to understand, but once it clicks, lot of doubts go away. इसलिए वेदांत सबके लिए नहीं आता, समझना में बौद्धि का, अब अनुभव में लाना तो फिर देन. That's why many bhaktas you can see, sevaks you can see, अलग अलग तरह के साधना वाले, बट पक्का वेदांति वाले, साधना करने वाले तो और कम, प्रवचन करने वाले will be there like me. So, एष स्वयं ज्योतिरजो प्रमेयः महानुभूतिः सकलानुभूतिः एको द्वितीयो वत्ससां विरामे येनेशिता वागसवश्चरन्ति. It's a very lofty, high level shloka Bhagavan is proclaiming. This Atma is that in whose presence all the faculties work But that is experienced when all the faculties are quietened. And that Atma, after quietening the faculties, to realize you have to contemplate and meditate. And for meditation, the helping words are these ones. The meaning of these words, when you contemplate on, while the contemplation meditation becomes deeper and deeper, all the faculties get quietened. In the quietness of the faculty, the self is experienced. Once it's experienced and look back, every faculty is working in its pure presence. So, Bhagavan, while saying this sloka to Uddhava, both listener Uddhava also, after exhausted in all his efforts, successfully in listening to what is said, lifted himself to such a loftiest meditative mood. In that mood, Krishna is ever there. At that mood, he is speaking. This sloka is like that. वी आर नॉट रीच्ड. हम तो अभी अपने घर गृहस्थी में फंसकर इसको समझने का कोशिश कर रहे हैं. हम उतना ही समझेंगे जितना भूल सकते हैं. नॉट याद कर सकते. हियर उद्धव इज हाईएस्ट लेवल. कृष्ण आल्सो. आई मीन्स यू कैन फील इट. एषः स्वयं ज्योति अजः अप्रमेयः महानुभूति सकलानुभूति एकः अद्वितीयः वचसां विरामे येन ईशिता वागसवश्चरन्ति. Like in Gita, every chapter ending में भगवान in a different highest mood concludes what he says or gives the sublime thought. Any like the fourth chapter, तस्मात् अज्ञान संभूतम उत्तम ज्ञानासिनात्मना चित्वा एनम संशयम योगमातिष्ठ उत्तिष्ठ भाव. So the fifth one, Arjuna, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvalokameshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam Jnatva Mam Shanti Murchet. So to sixth one. And therefore, Yoginam api, Arjuna, Sarvesham Yoginam api, Madgatena Antaratmana, Shraddhavan Vaite Yoga. So to in chapter 2, Esha Brahme Sthiti Partha. Third chapter also, Evam Buddhehe Param Buddhva Samstabhyatmanam Atmana. Last 9 chapter, Manmana Bhavat Bhakto Madhyajima. Everywhere, after giving the theme, from the loftiest stage, Krishna either summarizes or gives a very sublime thought to Arjuna. I see. Harik chapter, like 15th chapter. And then the last sloka. Iti guhyatamam shastram, idamuktam yadaga. 16th one, tasmat shastram pramanante. 17th one, बहुत डराने वाला. अश्रद्धया उतंदत्तंदवस्तम कृतम चेत असदिच्यते चेत इति उच्यते पार्थ. And the best of it 14th. ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम अमृतस्य अव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य धर्मस्य सुखस्य एकांतस्य. So too, the 13th chapter. क्षेत्रम क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नम प्रकाशयति भारत. 12 chapters last. Every you can see that I'm just telling you whether you are understanding or not. I'm telling what I am feeling. Here also, this shloka is of that. As if Bhagavan completed all the theme, what he has to teach, and he's summarizing all of them. And summary ek hi nahi hai abhi. The first line tells all the sadhanas of contemplation to be done. The second portion, first half, says that you transcend all the upadhi and experience what sadhana you have done on the earlier line. Then the last part says, a realized saint, how he is there in his presence, all the upadhis work in his ishitva. So, Esha Anuratma, sorry, Chetasa Veditavyaha, that is Upanishad. Esha Swayam Jyoti, Ajo Prameyaha, Manha Anubhuti, Sakala Anubhuti, Eka Dvitiyaha. These are all the words with meanings you have to contemplate. In the height of contemplation, to reach that self, what happens? Vachasam Virame. We reach to the absolute quietness of all the upadhis. At that level, what do you experience? The self. Of what qualities? Same qualities. Then that self standpoint say, what about all the upadhis functioning for a Jivan Mukta? He knows it. For us also it's the case, but we don't know. We take ourselves as Jiva. He knows himself. For him, Yene Ishita Vaga Savaha Charanti. He knows in my presence, all the upadhis are dancing, playing, entertaining me. So typical example is what? Hasne wala. Ki you are in your own room. Suddenly you felt like dancing. Nobody is there. You alone are there. You got up, you did some dance, and you became quiet. Who are you? You only. And who, where from the dancer came from you? From you only. Who danced you? Who saw the dancing? You only. And who stopped the dancing? You only. Is it not? In my own presence, my own body danced. Body is not other than me. It is me only. सो टू परमात्मा ही अलग अलग उपाधियां बनकर उनके द्वारा नाटक करते हुए भी उनको कुछ उसका टच स्पर्श नहीं होता. These are the crux of Vedanta, which are little tough to digest, we know, but that also will come to us when we are relentlessly listening to the Shastra. Okay, itna kafi hai. Then the another sloka dekho etavan atma samoha yad vikalpahatu kevale atmani rute sumatmano avalambona yasyahi. What I gave the dance example without studying this sloka, this sloka means that example only. I myself has become subject-object dichotomy, and not only getting entertained by the objects, slowly got lost in the objects. Is it not? I am the pure self. Who is the empowerer of both the subject, the experiencer in me, the objects, everything experienced. I am all the both of them. But lost sight of this. Therefore, I become identified with the objects. Then the jiva who is identified with the object, as that jiva I am suffering. This knowledge, which is very, very precious and rare, has to be again and again, again and again, again and again, we have to reflect upon. Then those thick layers of misunderstanding, ignorances go away. There's no other way. Thank you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जितना समझे उतना आना ही बढ़िया बात है क्लास में. Let us study our Ramayana for some time.